The stars shone bright over Mars Colony 9. The marketplace was busy, filled with strange sounds and people from many planets. Ethan Cole, a 32-year-old space salvager, walked slowly between rows of broken machines, robot arms, and dusty metal boxes. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but he had a good eye for forgotten tech. Ethan was looking for something cheap, something he could fix and sell. "Hey, you!" shouted an old vendor. "You want real value? Come here." Ethan walked closer. The man pointed at a large, rusted container, locked and sealed. "Mining container, old model. Heavy but solid," the man said. "No ID tag, no history, could be full of junk or treasure." Ethan looked at the container. It was over 2 meters tall and wide, covered in scratches and dust. There was a faded number on the side, MK7R92. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years. "How much?" Ethan asked. 5,000 credits, Ethan laughed. "Too much." "I'll give you 2, the vendor rolled his eyes. 3.5 final offer, Ethan thought for a moment, then nodded. "Deal." Within an hour, the container was loaded onto his small cargo ship, the Sparrowhawk. As the ship lifted off, Ethan looked at the container again. Something about it felt strange, cold, like it didn't want to be found. Back at his hangar on the edge of Mars, Ethan used his tools to scan the container. No radiation, no movement, no heat. The locks were old, mechanical, and easy to break. He turned on the camera to record just in case it was something valuable or dangerous. "All right," he said, speaking to the camera. "Let's see what I got." He turned the wheel lock, pulled the levers, and with a loud creak, the container door opened. Inside it was dark. Then, slowly, a soft blue light appeared. It came from a pod, round, glass-covered, and floating slightly above the floor. And inside the pod was a person. Not a human, a female alien. She was beautiful, even in sleep. Her skin was pale silver, glowing faintly. Her hair flowed like soft light. She wore a strange suit that looked part metal, part cloth. Tubes connected her body to the pod. Her eyes were closed. She looked peaceful. Or maybe frozen. Ethan stepped back, shocked. "What the hell is this?" He checked the pod. There were strange symbols on the side, not in any language he knew. There were no buttons, no wires. It was running on some kind of unknown energy. Ethan felt nervous. What if she was dangerous? What if she was alive? He reached for his communicator. "Hey, Rick," he said, calling his friend on Earth. "You won't believe what I found." Rick answered with a yawn. "You find gold again?" "No, man. I found a person in a pod, alien, female." Rick laughed. "You're watching too many old movies. I'm serious. She's in stasis. I think she's been in there a long time." Rick paused. "Be careful. This could be government tech. Or worse, pirate cargo." Ethan looked at the pod again. It suddenly made a small sound. Beep. Then lights on the pod blinked. Beep. Beep. The glass began to glow brighter. No, wait." Ethan stepped back. Steam hissed from the pod. A line of light traveled down the glass cover. Then it opened slowly, like a flower. The alien girl's fingers moved. Then her eyes opened, bright silver, shining like twin moons. She looked straight at Ethan. And then she spoke. In clear, perfect English. Ethan froze. His heart raced. "How do you know my name?" He whispered. The alien woman tried to sit up, weak but aware. "I found you," she said softly. "Before they do." "Before who?" Ethan asked. She looked at him, fear in her eyes. "They're coming." And then the pod made another sound. Warning. Power low. Tracking signal active. Ethan stepped back, eyes wide. Someone or something was coming. The alien girl reached for his hand. "Don't leave me," she said. "Please." Ethan looked at the open container, the strange pod, the blinking warning. The beautiful, strange woman who knew his name. This was no ordinary salvage job. This was the beginning of something much, much bigger. Ethan stood frozen, his hands still in the air. The alien girl's eyes were glowing softly bright silver with rings of light moving inside, like small galaxies spinning. Her voice echoed in his ears. "Ethan," she said again. "You're real." Ethan took a shaky step back. "How do you know my name?" he asked, his voice dry. The girl tried to sit up, but her arms were weak. She looked confused, like someone waking from a long dream. You were in the visions, she whispered. For years, you were the one I saw. Ethan didn't understand. Visions? What are you talking about? The pod behind her gave another soft beep. A red light flashed. Near the base. Power levels critical. Signal transmitted. Ethan's heart started to pound. He didn't like those words. All right, slow down, he said, moving toward her carefully. Do you know where you are? She looked around, blinking slowly. Mars ... 9. But it's different now. So much has changed? Ethan raised an eyebrow. You've been here before? She nodded. A long time ago. Before everything fell apart. There was a strange sadness in her voice. Her hands gripped the edge of the pod. Her fingers were long, graceful, and shimmered faintly with light. Can you stand? Ethan asked. I think so. He offered her his hand. She took it. Her touch was warm but strange, like soft electricity running through his skin. He helped her up. She was taller than he expected, almost his height. Her silver hair floated slightly as if gravity didn't affect her the same way. I need to know who you are, Ethan said, more firmly now. What were you doing in that container? Why did you call me by name? She looked into his eyes. My name is Alira. I'm from the Diaries system. My people are gone. Gone? He asked. What do you mean? Destroyed, she said. By those who want what's inside me. Ethan blinked. What's inside you? Alira hesitated, then looked down. I can't tell you yet, not here. Not while they're listening. Ethan looked around, but the hangar was quiet. No one else was there. Who's listening? Before she could answer, the ship's alert system rang out. Incoming transmission. Unidentified ship approaching. Ethan turned to his console and opened the scanner. A dark dot moved quickly across the radar screen. It's them, Alira said, her voice calm but sharp. They found me. Ethan's hands moved fast. We need to leave now. He guided her into the cockpit of his ship, the Sparrowhawk. She sat in the co-pilot's chair, her eyes scanning every control like she already knew how it all worked. As the engine started, she placed her hand near a panel. The lights around them flickered, and the ship's systems seemed to respond. Faster. Ethan noticed. What did you just do? I helped, she said simply. The Sparrowhawk lifted off the ground and flew high into the red sky of Mars. The black ship followed them, smooth, silent, and fast. They're not here to talk, Alira said. Ethan looked at her. You've seen them before? Yes, they work for the Order. They want the relic I carry. Ethan was tired of the mystery. What relic? You keep talking in circles. Alira looked at him with serious eyes. You don't understand, Ethan. I didn't just find you. I was sent to find you. He stared at her. By who? By the one who made the key, she said. Before she died? Ethan didn't understand any of it, but the sound of weapons charging behind them made it clear this was real. Very real. The enemy ship fired. Ethan pulled hard on the controls. The Sparrowhawk spun and dove through the clouds. The first laser blast missed by inches. Alira held her hands out, and suddenly a shield of glowing light appeared around the ship. Ethan stared in disbelief. What are you doing? I told you, she said. There are things inside me. The second blast hit the shield and bounced off harmlessly. The light flickered but held. Ethan pushed the engine forward and fired back. A shot struck the enemy wing. The black ship spun away into the atmosphere. Target retreating. The ship's AI said. Ethan leaned back in his chair, breathing hard. Sweat rolled down his face. Alira sat quietly. Her hands lowered. The shield disappeared. For a moment, there was only silence between them. Then Ethan asked, Why me? Why am I in your visions? What do you want from me? Alira turned to him. Because, Ethan, you're not just a salvager. You're the last human with the code, the one who can unlock the lost system. He frowned. What system? She looked out the window, the one that controls the future of every world. The Sparrowhawk flew through dark space, quiet and fast. Mars was now just a red dot behind them. Ethan sat in the pilot's seat, hands tight on the controls. His heart hadn't slowed since the fight. Next to him sat Alira, the silver-skinned alien woman he found in the container. She looked calm, but her glowing eyes watched everything. "You said they were coming," Ethan said, finally breaking the silence. "You were right." "I always knew they would find me," Alira replied softly. "The moment I woke up." The signal went out. Ethan looked over. "Who are they?" Alira turned to face him. "They call themselves the Order of Silent Suns. They're not a government. Not an army. They're something worse. They control knowledge." "And erase it. Sounds like a bad deal." "They're hunting me," she said, "because of what I carry, and now they'll hunt you too." Ethan leaned back. "Great. Just what I needed. I buy one weird box and now I'm on a hit list?" Alira gave a small smile. "You didn't find me by accident. You were chosen." He shook his head. "I'm just a junk salvager." She looked at him, her voice soft but certain. "Not anymore." The ship's computer beeped. "Alert, unidentified ships detected." "Approaching fast?" Ethan checked the screen. 3 small ships were following them, black and sharp, like flying knives. "They're fast," he said. "Faster than we are." "They won't stop until they take me," Alira said. "Then we don't let them." He grabbed the controls and pushed the engines harder. The Sparrowhawk roared forward, but the enemy ships closed the distance quickly. Red lights blinked on the dashboard. "Shields weak," the AI warned. "Weapons offline," Ethan cursed. "They hit our weapon core during the last fight." Alira stood slowly. "I'll fix it." He looked at her. "You? Do you even know this ship?" "No," she said. "But I know machines." She placed her hand on the side wall of the cockpit. A soft pulse of blue light spread out. Sparks danced across the control panels. The warning lights blinked, then turned green. "Weapons reactivated." Ethan blinked. "What did you do?" I asked the ship. "Nonethelessly," she said. "The enemy ships opened fire. Laser bolts streaked across space." Ethan rolled the Sparrowhawk hard to the left, dodging 2 blasts. The third hit the shield, shaking the ship. Alira stayed calm. She placed her hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Let me help." "Help how? Just trust me." She closed her eyes. Suddenly, Ethan felt a strange calm wash over him. His mind cleared. His hands moved faster. Every control made sense. Together, they moved like one. Ethan fired the Sparrowhawk's pulse cannons. The first enemy ship exploded into fire and debris. The second ship dodged and fired again. Another blast rocked the ship. Panels sparked. Smoke filled the air. "We can't take much more." Ethan said. "Then we don't," Alira replied. She moved to the back of the cockpit and opened a small storage panel. Inside was a metal sphere glowing faintly. Ethan looked at it. "What's that?" "It's a key," she said, "but not for a door." "For something much bigger," he frowned. "You keep saying that. What does it unlock?" Alira stared at the glowing ball. "It wakes something ancient. Something human." Ethan didn't understand, but there was no time to ask. The last 2 enemy ships were closing in. Ethan turned the ship toward the asteroid belt ahead. "This is crazy," he muttered, flying into the thick rocks. "It's your only chance," Alira said. "Use the dust. Lose their sight." The Sparrowhawk weaved between giant stones. Lasers fired behind them, hitting rock instead of metal. One enemy ship crashed into an asteroid and exploded. "Down to 1," Ethan said, gripping the controls tighter. The last ship was close. Too close. Then Alira whispered something in a language Ethan didn't know. The metal sphere in her hands glowed brighter. Outside, a ripple of light spread across the asteroid belt. The rocks shifted, almost like they were alive. The last enemy ship turned too late and smashed into a spinning boulder. Ethan watched the fireball in the rear screen. He let out a deep breath. "They're gone," Alira nodded. "For now." Ethan turned to her. "What did you do?" "I called the system," she said. "A sleeping AI left behind by your people long ago." "Human AI?" She nodded. "It was created during the last war, then lost. Hidden, only the key can wake it." Ethan stared at her. "And I'm part of this how?" Alira stepped closer. "Because the AI was designed to only answer to one kind of mind, a human mind." "And you think I'm the one?" "I don't think," she said. "I saw it." Ethan leaned back, trying to breathe. 1 hour ago, he was a simple salvager. Now he was flying through space with a glowing alien woman. Chased by killers holding a key to a forgotten system, he looked at her again. What happens next? He asked. Alira looked into the stars. We find the gate, she said. And we open it. Asterisk, the stars outside the window of the Sparrowhawk looked peaceful. But inside the ship, Ethan's thoughts were far from calm. He sat across from Alira in the small crew lounge, holding a cup of rehydrated coffee that had gone cold. His mind kept returning to her words, I carry the key inside me. He stared at her. So you're saying you're carrying something inside your body? Like physically? Alira nodded, calm as always. Not just my body, my DNA. Ethan raised his eyebrows. That's not normal. I'm not normal, she replied with a quiet smile. They had escaped the Order's ships for now, but Ethan knew this wasn't over. Whatever Alira carried was big. Bigger than he could imagine. And now it was his problem too. You still haven't told me what this key really is, he said. You keep calling it that like it opens a door? Alira leaned forward. It does. A door to knowledge, to control. A law system built by your ancestors, human ancestors, she nodded. Yes, long before your history books begin, humans ruled far beyond this solar system. They created an artificial intelligence more powerful than anything today. A machine mind that managed whole star networks. But it was dangerous, too powerful, so they locked it away. And this AI thing, Ethan said, you want to bring it back? Alira paused. No, but others do. The Order wants to control it. That's why they created people like me. Ethan looked confused. Created? Alira stood and walked to the center of the room. She raised her hand. A soft blue light glowed around her fingers. Her veins shimmered faintly beneath her skin like rivers of stars. I was born in a lab, she said. Designed by the Order to carry a genetic map, my body is a living code. But I escaped before they could finish their plan. Ethan stood. Too slowly. So, you're not just running from them. You're a part of them. I was, she said, but not anymore. He looked at her with new eyes. You're a weapon, Alira didn't answer. She looked away, a long silence filled the room. Then Ethan asked the question that had been growing in his mind. Why me? Why did you say I'm part of this? Alira turned back to him. Because the I won't wake for just anyone. It was designed to listen only to a human mind that matches its creator's pattern. A rare type, 1 in a billion. You match that pattern. Ethan blinked. You're saying I'm special? She smiled. I'm saying you're the key to unlocking the system. Without you, my code means nothing. He laughed nervously. This just keeps getting worse. The ship's AI interrupted. Approaching destination. Signal source detected. Ethan walked to the control panel. A blinking light showed a small moon in the distance, hidden in a dust cloud. What is that? He asked. Alira's face grew serious. That's where the first gate is. The map inside me points here. As they flew closer, strange shapes appeared on the moon's surface, black towers half buried in rock. Glowing symbols written in languages Ethan didn't recognize. The Sparrowhawk landed softly. Alira and Ethan stepped out onto the dusty surface. The sky above was dark, and the silence felt heavy. In front of them stood a massive stone door, covered in carvings and strange lights. This is it, Alira said. The access point. Ethan walked up to it, looking at the symbols. They shimmered faintly as he got closer. What now? He asked. Alira reached out and placed her hand on the door. Her skin glowed brighter. The stone pulsed, then she turned. To Ethan. Now you try, he hesitated. Then slowly he placed his palm next to hers. At first, nothing happened. Then light exploded from the center of the door. A deep voice echoed in the air. Smooth and mechanical. Identity matched. Human pattern confirmed. Code carrier detected. Gate opening. The door slowly slid open, revealing a dark hallway filled with glowing lights. Ethan stepped back. Well, that's new. They walked inside. The hallway led to a wide room. In the center floated a large sphere, surrounded by machines. It pulsed with life, almost like it was breathing. Alira looked at Ethan. That's the AI core, the first piece of the system. The AI spoke again. Human key has returned, awaiting command. Ethan stared at the floating core, stunned. What? Do I even say? Alira whispered. Say what you feel. It will understand. Ethan took a step forward. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. The core pulsed again. Then you must become ready. Suddenly, an alert appeared on Ethan's wrist console. Multiple ships inbound. The order has found you. Alira grabbed his arm. We have to leave, she said. But now they know. You're the one. The Sparrowhawk flew through the cold darkness of deep space, far from any planet or signal. Inside the ship, the lights were dim, and the silence was heavy. Ethan stood alone in the control room, staring out the window. His hands were shaking. His thoughts were louder than the engine hum. He had just helped open the first AI gate. The system had accepted him, called him the human key. But now he had questions. Too many questions, and Alira wasn't answering them. Behind him, the door opened with a soft hiss. She stepped inside. You're avoiding me, she said calmly. I'm thinking, Ethan replied without turning. She walked closer. About what? He turned to face her. About you. Her glowing eyes searched his face. What did I do? Ethan walked toward her, slow and controlled. You didn't tell me everything. You said you escaped the order, but the AI showed me something, a memory. Alira's face grew still. What memory? I saw you, Ethan said, wearing their symbol, standing next to their leader. Not as a prisoner, as one of them. Alira looked down. I was created by them, she said softly. And yes, I worked with them. In the beginning. Ethan's jaw tightened. You lied to me. I didn't lie, she said. I hid the truth. Because I knew you'd walk away. I should, he said coldly. But you won't, Alira replied. Because you know this isn't about me. It's about what's coming. Ethan looked away. Why did you leave them? He asked. Alira sat down slowly. Because I saw what they were building. They want to use the AI system to erase free thought. To rewrite history, to turn every planet into silence. Ethan stayed quiet. They trained me to find the key. Alira continued. To lead them to it, that was my mission. But when I learned the truth, I couldn't follow it anymore. So I ran. I sealed myself in that container. I hoped someone good would find me. Someone strong. You hoped it would be me, she nodded. And it was... Ethan looked at her. I don't know if I'm that good. Or that strong. You are, she said. Because you haven't turned me in. Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang out. Incoming transmission. Encrypted message from an unknown source. Ethan rushed to the console. The screen blinked, then showed a hologram. A tall man in dark robes appeared, face half covered by a breathing mask. Ethan Cole, the voice said. I know you can hear me. Alira stepped back, eyes wide. That's him, she whispered. The voice of the order. The man continued. You're holding stolen property. You are not the chosen one. You are not trained. You are weak. But we will let you live. If you give her to us, Ethan stared at the screen. Why? He asked. Why do you want her? She is unfinished, the voice said. But her body contains something we built, something dangerous in the wrong hands. That includes yours. Ethan's hand hovered over the button to end the call. The voice leaned closer to the screen. You don't know what she truly is, he said. Ask her. Ask her what's hidden in the second layer of her mind. The screen went black. Ethan turned slowly. Alira's face was pale. Her hands trembled. Alira? He said carefully. She didn't answer. What did he mean? She looked at him with pain in her eyes. There's something in me, a fail-safe, a second code, hidden deep. Even I can't control it. What does it do? If the order activates it, she whispered, I'll become something else. Not me, a weapon. Built to kill anyone who resists them. Including you. Ethan stepped back, his heart pounding. You mean, you could turn on me, just like that? I don't want to, she said. That's why I ran. That's why I begged them to shut it off. They didn't. He looked at her, torn between anger and fear. So all this time you've been carrying a time bomb, he he said. Inside my ship. I never asked for this, Alira cried. I didn't choose what they made me. Ethan was silent. Then he walked to the door. Where? Are you going? She asked. He stopped without looking back. To think, he said, and to decide if I can still trust you. Hours passed. Ethan sat in the engine bay, staring at the metal floor. Everything felt like a test. His life, his choices, even his heart. Then he heard footsteps. Alira entered, holding a small black cube. What's that? Ethan asked. It's a data core, she said. It holds the command link. If you destroy it, the order can never activate the second code. He looked at it. But if I break it, we lose access to part of the system, she nodded. It's your choice. Ethan stared at the cube. His fingers tightened. Finally, he smashed it against the floor. Sparks flew. The cube cracked. Alira closed her eyes. I don't know what we've just lost, Ethan said, but I know what we've saved, she replied. He looked at her, and for the first time in hours, the silence between them was not cold. Asterisk, the sparrowhawk hovered above a dying moon-gray, cracked and hollow inside. The sky was dark, the stars far away. Below, in a crater hidden from scanners, sat a forgotten structure. A tower made of old metal and black stone rose like a broken tooth from the moon's surface. This is it, Alira whispered. The control node. Ethan stood beside her in his armor suit, patched and rusty but ready. This is where it all ends? He asked. No, she said. This is where it begins. Or burns forever. Inside the tower was the second AI core, bigger, older, and angry. Alira explained it before they landed. The Order had been trying to access it for decades, but they never had the key. Now, Ethan was the last person alive who could wake it, and the Order knew it. Are you ready? Alira asked. Ethan looked at her. No, she smiled. Good, only fools are ever ready. They entered the tower through a rusted side door. The air inside was dry and still. Dust floated like memories. Old control panels lined the walls, dead and silent, but the heart of the tower pulsed. They followed the glow through narrow corridors until they reached a massive chamber. In the center floated the AI core, black, spherical, and alive with dim blue light. It thrummed like a sleeping beast. Ethan stepped closer. So, what do I do? Place your hand on it, Alira said. Let it feel you. He looked at her. And if it doesn't like me? Then it kills us both, she said gently. Ethan took a deep breath and touched the surface. Suddenly, light exploded from the core. Symbols filled the air. A deep voice echoed through the chamber. Human signature confirmed. Primary access restored. Ethan gasped. He could feel something in his mind, cold, powerful, scanning every thought. Every memory. You are not your ancestors, the AI said, but you carry their blood. Do you seek control? Ethan whispered. No, I seek freedom. The light pulsed, then command me. Before Ethan could speak, alarms blared. Alira's eyes widened. They're here. On the surface, black ships appeared in the sky. Dozens. The Order had arrived. They landed fast and hard. Troops pouring out like shadows. Robotic soldiers with glowing red visors marched toward the tower. Inside, Ethan turned to Alira. We don't have time. We don't need time, she said. We need trust. She pulled a glowing rod from her coat. What's that? The spark. It will link your thoughts to the core completely. But once it's activated, you'll be exposed. Exposed to what? To everything, she said. Pain, power, truth. He took the rod. Outside, the enemy breached the tower. Gunfire echoed through the halls. Alira pulled out 2 blasters. I'll hold them off. Ethan grabbed her arm. You won't survive. She smiled softly. You gave me a choice, remember? Now I choose this. She ran toward the entrance as doors burst open. Ethan turned back to the core. He inserted the rod. Pain shot through his body. His head filled with noise, voices, visions. He saw stars being born and dying. He saw Earth long ago with cities in the sky. He saw the original builders, humans like him, but brighter, sharper, more alive. The AI spoke again. Command, human. Ethan spoke through clenched teeth. Stop the Order. Confirmed. Targeting hostile ships? Above the moon, the AI awakened ancient satellites. Beams of pure light shot from orbit, cutting enemy ships in half. Explosions filled space. Inside the tower, Alira fought like a storm, her body moving with deadly grace, her eyes glowing bright. But there were too many. A soldier fired. The bolt hit her side. She fell to her knees. Ethan felt it. "Alira!" he shouted, still locked into the AI. He reached deeper into the core. "Protect her," he commanded. The tower shook. Walls came alive, old defense systems powered on. Lasers, turrets, and shields burst from the floor. The soldiers were cut down one by one. In minutes, the entire Order assault force was gone. Silence returned. Later, Ethan found her in the hallway. Bleeding but alive, he lifted her gently. "You didn't have to do this," he said. "Yes," she whispered. "I did." He carried her to the AI chamber, where the light was now soft and quiet. The AI spoke once more. "You have passed the test. The network is yours." Ethan looked down at Alira. "What do I do now?" he asked. She smiled weakly. "You lead." Hours later, the Sparrowhawk rose again from the moon's surface. But Ethan was not the same man who had landed. He was now a part of something ancient, something powerful. And beside him was a woman who had once been a weapon but chose to become something more. The galaxy would remember this day, the day a salvager became a legend. The galaxy was quiet again for now. Ethan stood at the edge of a high cliff on planet Daria, where twin suns hung low in the sky. Wind brushed against his coat as he looked out over the wide green valley below. The world had changed. And so, had he 1 week ago, he was a nobody, a scavenger looking for scrap. Now, his name was being whispered across systems. Not as a criminal, not as a hero, but as the keyholder. Behind him, the Sparrowhawk rested quietly, repaired and clean. No smoke, no alarms. No more running. Not today. Inside the ship, Alira lay in the med pod, healing. She had saved him. She had saved everyone. Ethan visited her every day since the battle. She didn't speak much, her body still weak from the fight. But when she opened her eyes, she always smiled. He remembered what she told him before falling unconscious. "Don't let them use the system, not even you. Promise me." He had promised, and he kept it. The AI system was now locked again, sealed with his voice. Only he could wake it, but for now it would sleep. The galaxy needed peace, not power. Ethan stepped back onto the ship. As he passed the main console, a new message blinked on the screen. "Delivery drone inbound. Source unknown." He frowned. A few minutes later, a small black pod landed near the ship. Smooth, silent, he opened it carefully. Inside was a box. Metallic. About the size of a shoebox. There was no note. No signal. Just one thing printed on the lid. In old Terran script, for the keyholder. Phase 2 begins. Ethan's fingers hovered above the latch. His gut told him, "Don't open it." Not yet. He took the box inside and locked it in the storage bay. Whatever Phase 2 was. He wasn't ready. Not yet. Right now, there was something more important. He walked back to the med bay. Alira was awake, sitting up slowly. Her skin was pale, but her eyes were as bright as ever. "You're back," she said softly. "I never left," he replied. She smiled. "Good, I had a dream." "Yeah?" Ethan pulled up a chair. "Tell me." "I saw a world. No war, no orders. Just people living like it used to be. Before everything burned." Ethan nodded. "Maybe we can build that." Alira looked at him. "Not alone." "Then we don't do it alone." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Alira asked, "What now, Ethan? What does a salvager turned galaxy keyholder do next?" He thought for a moment, then stood. He tapped the ship's console and activated the ship-wide comms. "AI," he said. "Set a new course? Destination?" He looked at Alira. "Somewhere quiet, somewhere green, somewhere no one knows my name." "Plotting course to uncharted space." Alira tilted her head. "Running away?" "No," Ethan said. "Starting fresh." Hours later, the Sparrowhawk jumped into hyperspace. Stars stretched like rivers of light. Behind them was the galaxy they had saved. Ahead, the unknown, but Ethan wasn't afraid. He had faced enemies. escaped death, unlocked ancient tech, and stood against the most dangerous organization in the galaxy. And through it all, he had learned one truth: being human wasn't about blood or history. It was about choice. He chose to protect, he chose to trust, he chose to believe. Now, he was choosing something new. Hope. 3 weeks later, far across the galaxy, in a dark chamber on a hidden station, a group of figures in robes stood around a circular table. In the center hovered a hologram of Ethan's face. He locked the system. One voice said, "But he did not destroy it," said another. "He's protecting it," a third voice added. "Then we wait. Phase 2 is already in motion." The signal was sent. They all nodded. Then one figure stepped forward. "He is clever, brave, but he's still human." "And humans," the voice whispered, "always break." Back on Ethan's new home, a quiet jungle world with no cities, no roads, he and Alira sat by a lake, watching strange birds fly across the sky. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Do you think they'll come back?" she asked. "Yes," Ethan said, "but so will we." They smiled. Above them, the stars watched in silence. Somewhere up there, fate was still moving, but for now, just for a little while, Ethan Cole, Scavenger, fighter, keyholder, legend, was finally at peace.